Welcome to my lit review episode for Goose Creek's new Fall Bake Shop collection. My name is Tracy and this is the 3-Wick Thesis candle channel. For those of you who are new here, my lit review episodes all follow the same pattern. I begin with showing you the label, talking about the wax, the wicks, the lid. I'll share the scent notes with you and my cold impression. I then cut the video, go out, burn it, take some burn footage, and take notes on things like strength and throw and how the fragrance evolves on warm. There are 8 candles in this collection. 3 of them are new to everybody, and about 3, I think 3 are new to me. There are 2 that I have burned in the past. One was recently released this summer, and that is the Apple Cheesecake Cupcake. So I'm going to go ahead and link that review below in the description. I'll also put a card up here in case you have cards on and you want to check that out. The other one is the sweet banana bread. I think I tried that one back in, I want to say January or February. I ended up returning it, but y'all, my nose has evolved since then. And I know the Hubs likes bready notes and I like banana. So I picked that up. I'm going to give it another try and let you know what I think. I also got this in a shipment with the Autumn Artistry collection. I had reordered that because of the very long delay I was experiencing with Goose Creek. So I have already unboxed these. I have dusted them off so that my nose won't be as itchy. So you do not get the unboxing in this particular video, but know that I have not sniffed these yet. And I will be still giving you my first impressions. By the way, if you have not checked out my review for Autumn Artistry, you absolutely should. These labels are phenomenal. And that entire collection overall is a winner, like as a cohesive collection. I'll also link that below in the description and put a card up here in case you want to watch that as well. I'm just going to pull from the pile over here. And the first one I grabbed is Salted Caramel Cupcake. Now the labels on these, y'all, I think these are so cute. They look like they're like cake wrappers. You get it like the fancy bakery, and it's just like a wrapper that kind of looks like it's holding the cake in and you can peel it off. It reminds me of that. And I love the detail in it. You've got this like swirly gold border here. You have what feels kind of like wallpaper vertical pattern. You have the scent notes in this wraparound, which I don't know if you can tell in the detail from the video, but it has the scent notes listed as it wraps around, which I think is a fun feature, well, until you get to the seal, which is not well done, but we can't have it all. And then it has a really realistic picture of what you're getting into with the particular candle. So this is well done. To me, this has Kent's name all over it. I don't know that Kent from the Candle Channel actually did design this, but it feels like Kent's work to me. Lid on this is gold, shiny. Wax is kind of a brownish orange, reminds me a little bit of like baby food squash, if you've ever had that. And these wicks are medium ropey. They're pretty ropey, and they're pretty long too. I might actually trim those the first time because those are pretty long. I'm afraid they'll get big mushroom heads on them. Scent notes on Salted Caramel Cupcake are whipped caramel frosting, sea salt, and vanilla cupcake, and this is one of the returning fragrances. It's delicious. On cold, it feels a bit one-dimensional. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but really all I'm getting is caramel and the sea salt. I'm not getting a strong sense of cake or that this is a frosting. Yeah, you could tell me that this is a salted caramel and I'd be like, yeah, I believe you. There's like a hint of something that reads a little bit like vanilla, but it is deep in there. And again, I wouldn't identify it necessarily as cupcake. And I don't get a creaminess that I would expect with frosting. The creaminess feels like melted caramel. It's gorgeous. I want to eat it. And it may evolve on warm. So stay tuned. Or if you want, y'all, I always put in chapter notes. So if you're interested now, you just want to know how this smells on warm, just skip to it. You can either hover your mouse below, skip right to the post-burn impression, or you can look in the description and there's chapter links and you can just click on it there. And I'm glad that you all appreciate those. I know for myself, before I was a content creator, I was a consumer of candle reviews, and I would get really frustrated when I would go to a channel and like they want to talk about their life, which is good, but sometimes I just want to close out my cart, you know? And I would want to skip all the blah, 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 and I'm kind of hovering all over the place. So I made a vow when I started my channel that I would put in those chapter notes so that you all could skip my blabbering if you wanted to, because I get it. I understand. Also, I value your time, and I value you being here, so thank you. Warm Snickerdoodle is the next one I grabbed. This is also a returning fragrance. So you've got the same wraparound label, exact same design, just a different picture on the front. This is of a Snickerdoodle, although it looks a little turd-like with its size. If I'm being honest. Same lid, same wicks, and then the wax on this one is more of like a creamy yellow beige type of vibe. Scent notes on this are warm Snickerdoodle, cinnamon, sugar, and vanilla bean. Oh. Oh, that's yummy. This smells just how a Snickerdoodle tastes. Like when you first bite into a Snickerdoodle, and the ones I've had have been softer. Oh, I kind of want a Snickerdoodle cookie now. They've been softer cookies. They're not like a crunchy cookie, and when you bite in, you kind of get this like almost a cakey element to the cookie, and then you get hit with this burst of cinnamon and sweetness from the sugar, and I feel like that's what I'm getting on cold. There's definitely a baked note in here that reads like a buttery cookie. There is a cinnamon note that smells like a bakery cinnamon. It's not spicy hot. It's also not too forward. There's that cinnamon bun icing candle from Goose Creek that I think the cinnamon is just ramped way up and overpowers anything else in it. This one is much more appropriate, much more subtle. It feels like it's supposed to, and you just get some nice sweetness. I mean, the sweetness does almost smell like a cinnamon roll icing. So if you like that sort of vibe, you want something that almost feels cinnamon roll but isn't the cinnamon roll icing candle, this might be a good option. Do I get vanilla? Yeah, it's in there. The vanilla bean is nice. It's warm. It's bakery. Yeah, this smells phenomenal on cold. I cannot wait to rip into that. And I have a lot of like pumpkin spice, cinnamon, bakery sort of stuff going in my September rotation. So if this is stellar, then that is going to end up getting burned this month along with all my other goodies. Another returning, yes, Melted Butterscotch. Y'all, I can't wait to get my nose on this one. Some of y'all have said this is really good. Plus, I love butterscotch fragrances. Sometimes they can be a bit much. But what I have learned is that they smell very, very strong and cloying on cold, and then when they come to life, they mellow out quite a bit. Similar to a cinnamon candle, I feel the same way about those. So again, same label design. Differences, you have the butterscotch on the front, same lid, same wicks, and this wax is more of a brown color. And the scent notes on this one, salted butterscotch, smooth caramel, and vanilla cream. Oh yeah, this is much, because I'm looking at the scent notes, I'm thinking, what is the difference between that really and the salted caramel cupcake? Because they both have vanilla, they both have caramel, and they both have salt. And the distinction is that with the butterscotch, you get a much deeper, richer sugar note. It almost smells like a burnt sugar or like a hardened caramel sort of vibe, whereas this one feels more like a soft caramel chew. I feel like at first chew, I almost get like it almost feels perfumey at first sniff, but I think that is giving you it's like a melted vibe that you're getting from it. Like it actually smells like you've melted candy. Yeah, I don't know how they got that in there, but it does actually feel melted. I don't get as much of a salt vibe in this one as I do the salted caramel. With the salted caramel, you get kind of a dryness, and this one you don't. It just smells really dark and deep with, it's almost like a molasses vibe to me. And then you get a sense of it having started to melt, like it's breaking down the sugars and it's just really creamy. Yeah, this one, we'll see. I'm a little hesitant about the melty vibe to it on cold just because it does read a little bit perfumey to me, but I think I'm gonna like it. Ooh, the new one I am most excited about. Oh, I hope I won't be disappointed. Cranberry Shortbread, y'all. So same label, and I'm noticing that the border here is a different color that matches the wax on each one, which is a fun little element. This looks delicious. Same lid, same wicks, and this one is a beautiful, kind of like Merlot, purplish red color. Scent notes are dried cranberries, powdered sugar, and buttery shortbread. Oh yes. Oh, that's good. That's delicious. I hope this smells good on warm. On cold, the first thing you're hit with is the shortbread note, and it is perfect. It is buttery. It smells like a crisp, crunchy cookie, which is what shortbread is. Shortbread tends to be a little more dense. It tends to be a little bit more buttery. It kind of breaks apart when you bite into it. You get that sense that it's a buttery, crunchy, baked cookie of sorts. And then that cranberry just kind of sneaks in there. You can barely smell it until it rears up about mid-note. So first thing, it's all shortbread, and then you start to feel the cranberry sneak in there, and it is a beautiful cranberry. I don't feel like, and a lot of candle companies do this with the cranberry fragrance, I don't feel like they had to add like a bunch of extra fragrance to it to make it feel like cranberry. It just feels like a cranberry note. And almost like it almost gives me like cranberry jelly or cranberry jam vibes, or like if you've ever made the cranberry sauce from like real fresh cranberries and you add sugar. I always put a little bit of orange in mine. It gives me that sort of vibe, like a sugary sweet cranberry, but not a spicy one. Oh yeah. Man, I hope this stays how it smells. I don't get a sense of the powdered sugar on cold, but that could evolve on warm. That's a stunner. Okay, here's the one that I'm almost 100% confident that I returned last year. Also, I'm noticing I just saw this in the right light. And maybe it's just this one? No, it's all of them. Y'all, this gold. Kent, if you did this, you're amazing. I mean, you knew that already, but the gold font on here is actually kind of glittery. And I don't know, I thought it was just shiny, but it actually has some glitter to it. And I don't know if that'll pick up on the camera, but what an amazing detail. There's so much thought that went into this to just make this an adorable label, y'all. It's beautiful. Anyhow, this one is one I'm pretty sure I returned. The sweet banana bread. So you've got a muffin on the front. You have fresh bananas as a topping. The same label design, except again, this one matches this wax color, which is more of a yellow. That's appropriate. Same wicks, same gold lid. And this one has scent notes of mashed bananas, cinnamon sugar, and baked bread. Yeah, I'm not crazy about it on cold, but this is not how I remember it smelling last year. I remember it being more spicy, like more banana bread forward. I'm gonna go back and see if I used to do a series called Scent Back, but I stopped returning candles, y'all, because I just burned them all now. I'm pretty sure I had it in there. I'm gonna go and check and see if this is the same one, and I'll update you on the post-burn review, whether or not it's the same. But I don't remember the one I got smelling like this. This is very much more of like this smells more like a banana pudding to me than it does a bread. There's definitely a spice note in here coming from that cinnamon sugar. It does feel a bit more cinnamon bark than, say, the Snickerdoodle. This one feels more like a bakery cinnamon to me. This one feels more like you took some cinnamon bark and literally, shredded it or grated it into your baked good. The banana is both a fresh banana. You definitely get the essence of a mashed banana. Like it feels like a super ripe sweet that you have hit with a fork and it's kind of just, wafting the fragrance of fresh banana. But I'm also picking up on like a runty artificial banana note in here too. And maybe they added that to like amp up the fresh banana fragrance. Yeah, it's just a tinge runty, beautiful fresh banana. You get a hint of that cinnamon. It's not super sweet, but it does feel more like a vanilla pudding to me than it does a bread. And I swear I remember the one I bought last year or earlier this year, having more of a like a carrot cake vibe to it. I thought I remember the cake being really spicy in it. We'll see. I'm gonna let you know when I do the cut and we'll gauge it from there. I think I'm gonna put that one in that spot. Okay, this one, y'all, returning fragrance, new to me, Bourbon Pecan Tart. I am on a real pecan tear this season. I'm loving all the pecan stuff. Pecan Praline or Praline Pecan, Praline Delight from Bath & Body Works. There were a couple of different pecan fragrances that's already come out from Goose Creek. I want another one. I cannot have enough. I loved the pecan from Homeworks. Y'all, put it in the cart. Glazed pecans, warm brown sugar, crumbly pie crust, and Kentucky bourbon. You get a bourbon note with this one. Yeah, first thing I'm getting is the booze. So if you don't like bourbon fragrances, I don't think you will like this particular candle. That may evolve on warm, but on cold, that's the first thing you're hit with. I love bourbon, so I don't mind it, but it's pretty strong. It just gives this really nice boozy note. I am then hit with the brown sugar, but I'm guessing the glazed pecans must have a spice note in it, because I'm pretty sure I'm picking up on something that feels like cinnamon, and I'm not getting pie crust. Yeah, this smells like you took pecans and you rolled them in some cinnamon and sugar and then put like a bourbon glaze on them. Yeah, I'm not getting any tart. Again, that could come out on warm. That also could be a good thing. I feel like Goose Creek sometimes really botches their baked good notes, their pie crust in particular. So I'm not mad at that at all. Not quite the pecan pie vibe that I was expecting, but I do like it. Oh, I forgot to show you the label and the wax and the wicks, y'all. So the label, love the pecan tart in the front. You have the wax matching border again. Same lid, same wicks, and this one is dark brown. Yep. All right, last one in this video and the last new release in this collection is Bake Shop Pastries. Now, if you caught my Weekend Deals episode a couple weeks ago, and by the way, that comes out every Thursday, I share with you new products and some of the best sales in the candle retail world. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see that in your feed. I had mentioned that just by looking at the scent notes that I thought this might end up smelling like the Belgium candle from the World Traveler collection. So I have lost most hope for this one because I did not necessarily like that candle. I'm actually burning it right now in my September rotation. This is cinnamon buns, buttery pastries, and warm bakery air. Yeah, it's very similar, but it's not the same. Let me go grab that one. I'm going to sniff that one side by side. All right, I went and got it. And this is what that one looks like. At least on cold, they're not the same. Similar, same wheelhouse, but this one is a lot more bready, the Belgium. Like with this one, I feel like I'm smelling on cold just straight up like you took bread out of the oven and it was a cinnamon bread, but you forgot to put the icing on it. I get bread and cinnamon. This one, there's something in here I don't like. The note. It almost smells burnt. I feel like there is a cinnamon, but it reads more like an icy cinnamon to me. That's probably because it's a cinnamon bun. I feel like I'm getting like an icing note. But the cinnamon is darker and richer, almost like what you'd get in like a coffee cake, which maybe that's where that burnt note is coming from. The cinnamon is usually really concentrated within the swirls of a coffee cake. And it's less bready. Yeah, same wheelhouse. Like I would, you know, if you liked this one, I think you'd like this one and vice versa, but this one smells more spicy to me and a little bit more like buttery rich, less like bread. More like an icing too. So I have hope that this one will be better. You can see how, y'all, this has been in my rotation all month and that's how far I've gotten. I don't even think I've burned it yet. I think this is from my lit review. Which, by the way, if you want to see the lit review on this collection, I'll link that below and put a card up there. Some real winners in that collection and some real not winners. So yeah, this one isn't bad. I feel like I'm getting a sense of just that cinnamon bun, a little bit of icing. It's not as bready. It feels, there's something in here that feels almost boozy. I don't know. It's strange. Hopefully it evolves on warm. So this one, this kind of reminds me of the turd emoji, y'all, but I'll forgive them. Again, the border matches the wax. Same sort of label, same lid, same wicks. And this one is more of a, it's like a molasses caramel brown. Very similar to the other browns in the collection, however. Okay, let me see what I want to do here for ranking. Okay, on cold sniff, from least favorite to most favorite. Sweet banana bread is going to be my least favorite, and that is only because I'm almost craving more of like a cinnamon sugar note in here, and I also don't like the runty vibe that I'm getting that's meshing or not meshing well with the fresh banana that's in there. We'll see, that might be beautiful on warm. I'm going to do the melted butterscotch next. There's something in here, that melted note, that just reads almost perfumey to me on cold. I think that will mellow out on warm, but I'm not sure. I would do Bake Shop Pastries next. It's not a bad fragrance. I don't think it's as bready as Belgium, but I do think that there's some very close overlap. It's a little boring. Bourbon Pecan Tart would be next. I really like this fragrance, but it is boozy, y'all. You gotta like Kentucky bourbon. I would then do the salted caramel cupcake. I am loving the salt note in here. It feels like a salted caramel chew. I would love more cupcake, however. I absolutely adore the warm snickerdoodle. It smells just how a snickerdoodle cookie tastes when you bite into it. And number one, the newbie cranberry shortbread. Beautiful shortbread note. Perfect hint of cranberry that comes from the middle of the scent notes. Cannot wait to rip into this one. All right, I'm going to cut here, go out and spend some hours with these, and I'll be right back after the cut to share with you my warm impression findings. All right, y'all, I am back with my post-burn impressions. There were some real upsets with this collection, some that I'm just really disappointed in, and other ones that I'm surprisingly excited about. So I'm going to rank these per usual from my least favorite to my most favorite. And the biggest upset in this collection, and I hate to break your hearts, is the Cranberry Shortbread. Now, on cold, I was watching Wanda's cold sniff yesterday. I think she technically published that video on Friday, but I just saw it. Her and I, like one for one, we read this candle exactly the same on cold, that you get that beautiful shortbread note, you get the cranberry in there. However, on warm, this really evolves. And there are multiple issues with this candle. It's not just the fragrance for me. Number one is there is a pastry note that Goose Creek does, and it smells burnt to me every single time. I'm getting it right now in blueberry funnel cake. I feel like I got it somewhat in the cinnamon bun icing candle. There's been several lately where I'm like, this just smells burned. Like, it doesn't even smell good. It just smells burned. And I'm getting like that burnt vibe essence from this fragrance on warm. The other thing is that the throw on this is weird. So far away, like when I first enter the room, I smell something buttery. And it smells pleasant. And then the closer I get, the more that goes away, and the more I get a cranberry note with that like burnt baked note. And the cranberry note in here is also very different on warm. So on cold, it feels very sweet, very jammy, almost like you've made a homemade cranberry sauce. On warm, however, it turns very artificial. I don't want to say smells like plastic, but it almost smells plasticky to me. So the general, like, overall vibe of this ends up smelling a lot like, and it doesn't have oat in it, but like one of those Quaker Oats breakfast squares. I used to get them in apple and cinnamon thinking they would taste good, and then they really just, I'm sorry, I don't like them. If you like them, I'm not attacking you personally, they're gross to me. They're dry, they taste fake, right? They kind of scratch the itch of wanting something sweet in the morning, but it's just like cardboard, you know? I get that vibe. This feels like a cranberry flavored breakfast bar that's healthy and you want it to taste like a cookie, but it really just tastes like a cardboard health diet food. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. I'm not eating it right, I'm just smelling it, but yeah, just huge letdown on Warm. And let's talk about strength, because that's another letdown for me. So I was burning this yesterday. The hubs had to take a meeting on Zoom. So it's in his space. My lab is also his office. And he came down and he got on Zoom and he turned on, we have like one of those little portable air conditioners because we have a vent. So it vents outside and then it cools off the space. And I came down after his meeting. I was like, oh, your air conditioner's running. He's like, well, yeah, it's hot in here. I'm like, okay, well, I've got to burn that candle out because I can't test this one with air conditioning, and none of the other ones get it. And none of the other candles I've ever tested have the air conditioner going. So I actually lit this a second time. Now, the first time with the air conditioner on, I feel like it was stronger and I got a sense of it. So there could be something about air circulating that makes this candle stronger, but I burned it twice more without the air conditioner on because I was convinced that I was just losing my sense of smell. I'm like, I could smell it the first burn. Why aren't I getting anything second and third burn? In fact, it's still a little bit mushy because I extinguished it shortly before filming this. But on second and third burn, it's almost undetectable in that space. So I don't know if that's like, this was top loaded with fragrance and I've already burned through that and now we're getting to like less scented, or if it was stronger first burn because the air conditioner was blowing it around. So keep that in mind. Just overall, huge disappointment with this candle. I really wanted to love it and I'm so sad that it's not good. I'll probably still burn it because I'm stubborn, but it's definitely not one that I would buy again, and it's not one that I would recommend to you unless you really want to, pick it up because you're curious. Number 6, and honestly, to be clear, the rest of these are phenomenal. I love them all. I would absolutely, if I knew what I know now, still buy all 6 of these. So just keep that in mind as I'm talking to you about what I found. Number 6 is going to be the Bake Shop Pastries. I like this fragrance. I do think on Warm that it is different from Belgium. This one has more of a spice note. You get more of whatever the cinnamon is that's in here. This has cinnamon buns, but it's a stronger spice, but it's still warm. This one is more bready. So if you take this one and add more cinnamon and just a hint more sweetness, you get this one. To me, this Belgium smells like you took cinnamon bread out of the oven and forgot to put frosting on it. And some of y'all have said you smelled hot dogs in this. One of y'all said you smelled sausage. This one's just a weird one, okay? I don't know. This one's just weird. This one smells more like it's almost like a cinnamon, sugar, buttered pretzel. Like you get the bready note still, but the cinnamon is ramped up, the sweetness is ramped up, and it actually smells legitimately more like a baked good or something from the bakery. So these are not the same. The hubs, I was asking him too, I'm like, are these the same? He's like, no, they're definitely not the same. It's okay. He goes, but I would say if you have one, you don't need the other. And I was like, well, I disagree. I think if you have Belgium, you need this one because this one's not good. But if you only have this one, you do not need Belgium. So these are similar, same wheelhouse, but this one is slightly better. But also, it just feels kind of boring to me, which is why it ranked so low on my list. It does have good throw. It filled out the space in a just beautiful fashion. I got a sense of it everywhere. It wasn't elusive. Not a creeper, so not super thrower, but definitely a good sense of throw. And I would categorize this as a medium strength leaning into strong. I think it's delivering well for how light the cinnamon note is in here and that it's sweet, but it's definitely not a powerhouse, and I wouldn't rank it as strong, but it would do well in smaller spaces, probably not going to perform in open concept. Number 5 for me, and that is only because I don't know if I am fully in love with how dark the sweetness goes on this one, is Melted Butterscotch. I kept thinking, like, why does this smell like molasses? This smells like molasses. And then I was like, well, what is butterscotch? So I looked it up. And basically, butterscotch is usually made with brown sugar or molasses or both. And so I was like, oh, well, that makes sense because brown sugar has molasses in it. And if you add molasses, it's going to get really dark and very syrupy. This is very dark and very syrupy. It is a very heavy, syrupy, dark sweetness to it. I don't think This is as good as, is it Salted Butterscotch that Bath & Body Works does? I don't remember. I'll put a picture up here. I think that one's better. That one's sweeter and the darkness is toned down. But if you're looking for something that's a little more dark, it feels like it has more molasses. This feels like a little bit more rustic, feels a little bit more masculine to me. It feels a little bit more deep winter to me. Then you'd want to pick this up because it is a beautiful fragrance. I do really enjoy it. It just is super strong in terms of that kind of like dark burnt sugar vibe to me. It does have a sort of creamy element to it that actually makes it smell like it's melted. So that does help to soften that up a little bit. In terms of strength and throw, this was, it was good. The throw was good. I think it was stronger the further away from the candle you were. So when you first walked into the room, you got kind of hit with a wall of fragrance that diminished the closer you got to it. With strength, I would put it at a medium leaning towards strong, and it being strong on the perimeter, medium towards the candle. The perfume note that I was picking up on cold did not stick with it on warm, so there was no sense of perfume in this at all. And then one thing I will add about this one is this was a super hot burner. And with this collection, unlike other ones that I've reviewed, I actually did trim the wicks to start because they were really long. They were like sticking way up out of the wax pool. So it's not a wick issue. I trimmed them. It blew up real fast. It got real hot. I had to burn it out after about an hour. Otherwise, you'd start getting some serious soot. So I do plan to really manage these wicks going forward, make sure I keep them trimmed, and keep an eye on this one because it does burn really hot. Only other thing I have in my notes here is that it's a bit simple, and that's true. It's like if you like butterscotch and that's about it, you would like this one. Number 4, which would rank a lot higher if it had better strength and throw, would be Warm Snickerdoodle. Now this one I would put at a medium leaning towards light. I really, really wanted more strength from this one because it is a gorgeous edible fragrance. I put "so yummy!" exclamation point in my notes. So the cinnamon note that's in here paired with the cookie, which is the Snickerdoodle. Snickerdoodle is kind of like a sugar cookie with cinnamon and sugar in it. It's just very warm. The spice is definitely a bakery cinnamon. And if you've ever had a Snickerdoodle, there's something about biting into it and you get this like sense of cinnamon that kind of goes up into your nose. But it's not a spicy hot cinnamon. It's definitely a soft, warm bakery cinnamon. And you get that same feeling, that same perceptual awareness that you would eating it when burning it, which is why I really enjoyed this one. I have on here that it is a good thrower. However, it's a little bit weird because further away from the candle, so you're getting fragrance, but further away, I feel like I picked up more on the cinnamon and the warmthness of it. The closer I got, the more I could smell the buttery Snickerdoodle cookie aspect. And kind of in between is where you got the whole package. So there's something about the cinnamon fragrance oil in here that is getting carried well, and something about the bakery cookie note that isn't carrying as far. So it is throwing some elements of the candle, but not all the elements of the candle. And the cookie note in here is a little bit buttery. It's a little bit gooey. It's like the perfect Snickerdoodle vibe. Love it, but ranked it lower because I want more scent. Now, number 3 is going to be a little bit of an upset, not only in terms of cold ranking, but I did go back into way, way back to the start of my channel. Wow, some of those videos were really bad. My, how I have grown, and watched one of my first ever and only ever episodes that I was calling Sent Back. And I had actually returned Sweet Banana Bread to Goose Creek because I said it stunk. Now that particular review discussion that I had was that I could smell what felt like an oat note and that it was way too heavy on the spiced banana bread vibe. And I also said the banana smelled artificial. So either my nose has changed, which is absolutely possible given that I've gone through about 400 candles since filming that video, or something about the formula in this has changed. So if you have bought this before and you have this year's version, can you tell me if you think it smells different? I think it's probably just my nose, But if it is something about the formula, I would love my other viewers to know that as well, because I actually really like sweet banana bread now. I like it. I do still get that hint of like runty fake banana in here, but it's also paired nicely with what feels like a fresh smashed banana, like what you would have in like a banana cream pie or like a banana pudding, right? If you had chunks of banana in it. I'm getting a mix of both. I did not feel like the banana bread note in here was too strong at all. It actually reminds me a lot of what it's like when you pull banana bread out of the oven. And if you're like me, you're a little bit impatient and you really want to eat a slice now. And so you cut it, it's too soon, all the steam releases, and you're trying to eat it and it's like hot and a little bit gooey. That like vapor that you get from cutting banana bread right out of the oven and trying to shove it in your mouth with a little bit of melted butter is what I get with this. So it feels just like you are eating a fresh out of the oven slice of banana bread with just a hint of like runt candy sprinkled in there. Just a little bit of artificialness, but for the most part, it's very authentic. It's rich, it's buttery. I feel like it just reminds me of eating banana bread. Now, in terms of strength, it was really good. It is medium strength, leaning towards strong, and it definitely filled the space, so I had good throw. Again, not a creeper, didn't go up the stairs, but it is really delicious. Now, the other thing I want to highlight with this burn footage of the candle is that the label actually projects onto the wall. So when you have this lit and you have it next to a wall, you'll see this kind of like rounded edge. It almost looks like a fence or like a doily edge. It's really pretty. So I love that projecting from the label. I think that's just a nice touch. Again, if Kent did this, this screams Kent to me. This whole vibe. It's like all these little details that you don't have to do, but make the candle so much more special. This whole collection is just phenomenal in that regard, to all the little details that are in here. Number 2 is the Bourbon Pecan Tart. Now this one, just kind of a solid medium. I actually was expecting it to be quite a bit stronger given that boozy note that's in here, but I think what might be going on with this one is while I was burning it, unlike some of the other ones in here, it wasn't super high flame. If anything, I feel like I was experiencing a little bit of a swamp wick with this one, and I was having regrets about having trimmed the wick for the first time. So while I was testing it in my space, I feel like the strength was medium. I brought it upstairs and thought, well, I'm going to let it work itself out for a minute, right? Maybe it will recover. And within 30 minutes, the flames were back to looking normal, and I feel like I could smell it better. So it could have been an issue of the low flame. It could just be that this is a medium thrower. I won't know until I get deeper into this candle, and you won't know unless you buy it or you wait until my empties, and by then it might be too late. So for now, I'm just going to categorize this as a medium. You do get this beautiful bourbon note in here, which to me ends up almost reading a little bit syrupy. Pair that with the brown sugar note that's in here, the warm brown sugar, and this reads a lot like I've had some homemade brown sugar bourbon syrups in my coffee drinks. There's a coffee shop around here that makes all their own syrups, and it reminds me a lot of that. So it feels like a syrup you would put in your coffee or that you would add to a baked good, right? Something very cloying, very syrupy, very sugary, very sweet. So you have that hint of booziness from the bourbon, and then the super syrupy sweetness from the brown sugar. It is very rich. The pecan note in here ends up reading like if you've ever had to chop pecans and you're chopping it and you just get that really earthy, nutty pecan vibe. I get that from this on warm. I did not pick up on any sort of crust note in here whatsoever, which is okay with me because, again, I feel like Goose Creek crust notes can go a little bit south. And when you put the whole package together, you've got like the chopped pecan with the brown sugar syrup with a hint of bourbon. This really does end up smelling like the kind of underbelly of a pecan pie. It's almost like the syrupy sweet part of the pie is really amplified with a hint of like chopped pecans on top. In terms of throw, it had good throw. It did fill the space. No issues or concerns there. This is just another stellar pecan fragrance, but more boozy. So of all the pecans I've reviewed so far on my channel, this one is the booziest. So if you don't like booze, you don't like that kind of element to a candle, probably would not like that one. And I would recommend the pecan from Homeworks, or Praline Delight from Bath & Body Works if you're looking for something less boozy. And that means number 1 is salted caramel cupcake. Y'all, this is to die for. I have so good exclamation point as my first note. I don't get a whole lot of cupcake in this. I do pick up on a really sweet kind of cakey note, but it's not too cloyingly sweet. For me though, this is mostly a salted caramel, and specifically like a salted caramel chew, like a handmade soft caramel with the big chunks of sea salt on the top, and you bite into it and it's soft and it kind of melts and you get this sense of like sugar and butter and salt all together. Yes. This makes me want to go buy some of those. Okay, it's that good. In terms of strength, I put this at medium, leading towards strong. Like with some of the others, I felt like it was stronger further away. So the closer you got to it, the less I feel like you could smell it. It did have good throw. It did fill out the space. I will absolutely be burning this one, at least one. I'm going to start adding it actually to this rotation because I think this pairs well with some of the caramel apple fragrances that I have. So I'm going to start burning this now. It will probably rotate into October, but I absolutely am in love with this. And if you like caramel or caramel bakery and you're not looking for a beast of a thrower, this is a good one to go with. If you do like caramel and you want a beast, I would go with, I'm actually burning it right now, caramel apple from Goose Creek, but you got to like green apple a little bit. Or Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat is a beast of a caramel fragrance, but I don't like the graham cracker note in that one. But this one's just a solid, you know, mid-range, beautiful, soft, salted caramel. Highly recommend it. All right, let me know in the comments below, which ones did you pick up? Which ones are you most excited for? Did you have any upsets in the ones you purchased? Any surprises? Give me the tea. I want to know all about it. If you have any questions for me, you can pose those below as well. Give me a thumbs up before you take off. And if you aren't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It helps to grow my channel. It helps to push my content out to new viewers. And it really does support me in the long run. And it's just a quick, simple thing you can do that you can always unclick if you decide you don't want to see any more of my face. And speaking of my face, there's a lot of other good stuff coming down the channel pipeline this week. Tomorrow is Wax Melts Wednesday, so I'll have a haul from Rose Girls and is it Macaron Wax Melts, a custom order I did that I'm really excited to share with you. I also am going to have my weekend deals episode on Thursday. This weekend is shaping up to look like a good weekend for videos. Saturday will be Bath & Body Works ritual haul, and then I'm not sure what order everything's going to go in, but I have another Goose Creek haul I'm going to do that's supposed to be here on Friday. I still have the Boo Crew from Kringle. I have a Kringle haul to share with y'all. I might do a mid-month empties. See, you want to be subscribed, and if you want to know right away about my content being released, make sure you turn on notifications. Thank you so much for being here with me again today. I know you had other options, and I appreciate you spending your YouTube time with me. I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.